Let's get started. What do you think, T?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, it's such a pleasure to welcome T today on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I hope you all are in a good spot for all of the teachings that he would be leading us with today. His topic today is social connection, which is such a wonderful topic and so apt for this series where we're all connecting from different parts of California. So T, I can't wait to hear what you have to tell us and take it away.
Mhm. Thanks, Jyoti. Ooh, sweet. Yeah, so I've come to a couple of these. It's been really rich to see different people's angles and styles on different tips and tricks. So hopefully I got some tips and tricks for you all. And tonight I'll introduce myself. I'll kind of tell my story as it relates to social connection. Um, and then hopefully we can have some discussion in the chat because that's what we got. We're not doing breakout rooms. We're not doing Zoom screens. And so in some ways it's a little awkward. We're doing a topic of social connection and it's just my big head on the screen. But I think a lot of people more and more these days are used to just chat, and DMs and text. So we'll hopefully we can make this alive in the chat. So I'll talk for a few minutes and then I'll guide us in a practice, basically like a little mini meditation. And it all kind of be on this theme of what even is social connection and how can we explore it um, in this format, and then how can you take it home, have some little tips and tricks for your back pocket. And then hopefully we have enough time to have some question and answers session. So um, a little bit about me. Well, in this moment, a little bit about me is it often feels like there's just an elephant in the room of like the world is on fire. And like whether it's the world or our country or personal lives, like there's so much going on. And so to come here and come do something like this on your 7:30 p.m. evening, you must have some sense that this is worth it. It makes sense in the context of all of what's going on to check in to whatever brought you here. I just want to kind of honor that there's some wisdom there. And it's not necessarily just like trying to push away the world and come for a hideaway. Maybe you came for that. Hopefully you find some ease here, but also it can be like a recharging up, to be able to then go out and face the world's and our inner challenges. So, so bows to you for taking this pause, for joining us here. Um, so a little bit about me historically is that I was also a UC graduate. Um, I don't want to like play favoritism and have competing campuses. So maybe I'll leave it up. I'll tell you at the end where I went to school. But I was a UC student back in 2004. I graduated and I had just sobered up. I had gotten a lot of trouble with just myself and my mind and then in the world because I was addicted to alcohol and I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And with the help of these practices like mindfulness and taking a pause and checking out what's really going on in here, I was able to save my life, really. These practices saved my life. And so I'm honored to be here. I've dedicated my life to it ever since. And yeah, hopefully we can have some useful exchange here in the next 20 so minutes. Um, but anyways, at UC, at college, I I was really focused on my studies. I like started to really care about things in college and like in my sobriety. So I just really dedicated myself to the books. And so I didn't really have necessarily even time for friends, but I didn't really like make that many friends in college. Like I maybe one or two kind of friends, but like I was in my own world. And so there was a lot of aloneness. But I think these practices helped it be like okay though. It wasn't painfully lonely, and hopefully I can offer some tools to help you all if any sort of that kind of isolation is part of your experience. What we do today, I don't mean this to be like in place of building relationships and having friendships and in-person reality with humans, but hopefully this kind of thing, this interaction and these tools will inform and support your life and your social connections. Um, and so when I found this mindfulness stuff in college, I felt like just like healing path or a path to like real freedom in many ways. And so I was starting to look for like-minded people, like I'm into this, but I'm showing up to something like this by myself. So I don't know if you all are showing up kind of by yourself um or with a cohort, but whatever it is, it was you who decided to come. And that's kind of what I'm going to keep encouraging is just to keep following that intuition. For me, it took a long time. Sometimes this takes time to find your people. It took me a long time. And some of it's just out of my control. Um, just takes persistence. But also, there are these practices that I will offer and guide us in today that can help us in some ways kind of build that inner muscle, like that mental muscle, to build just our kind of intimacy with what it's like to know what connection even is. So when we get to the practice, it's like the invitation is to notice what even is connection. What does it feel like to be connected to myself or to someone that matters to me that I'm thinking of, or even just like a place or some non-human beings? What is connection? Because we are social mammals. We're kind of wired that way as humans. Um, they call it interpersonal neurobiology. Like we are wired as this kind of to be a part of a web. We're like taking in and giving out, and we are and I don't know if it's like called an open source system or an open loop system, something like that, where we're deeply embedded in a web of life and connection. And so a lot of this practice is just going to be about noticing that what's already here, not necessarily generating it or making connection happen, but really noticing that there's already connection. Um, the big piece I want to add to this, and even in my definition of mindfulness, it includes paying attention with kindness and curiosity. It's that kindness and curiosity that will go a long way. It took me a long way to not just pay attention to the present moment and cultivate presence in the same way like I might just do whatever hyper masculine stuff I was doing, like going to the gym or studying and focusing and like getting really, really intense. Um, I kind of did that for a long time. But when I started to notice that just kindness and curiosity can be the drivers themselves, and they can really support getting to know ourselves, finding ease, finding freedom and clarity, finding connection. And so I think last night I came to this, and if you were there, you remember that it was on deep listening. And that is a thing that has really supported me as people who have brought these mindfulness practices and kindness and curiosity to listen to me, to have myself feel heard, and then for me to understand and learn how to listen to others. And if mindfulness means paying attention with kindness and curiosity, then I'm just flexing that muscle of paying kind, curious attention. That's going to benefit myself and others in my life. And that has really allowed me to find my voice, to not just be afraid to talk because people are going to make fun of me. Like often have long-term friendships, and I was in college, and my long-term friendships wouldn't know me anywhere near as much as somebody who is like actually mindful listening to me. Somebody in a group like this who would show up to something like this. Okay, these are my people. I feel seen and heard. I can show up. I can pay attention to them. Um, and that's just a norm. And so that's kind of where I'm heading us is like we're planting the seeds to be able to find these kind of communities and to build those muscles inside ourselves. So that's a lot of me talking. I do want to check in with you all. Um, so I think the best way is just to ask kind of a simple question here. And, as if I was going to try to get to know somebody, I would maybe share something about myself, and then I would ask them, and then I would listen and not make fun of them or be critical. And I would treat myself the same way. And so let's try that. It's going to be a little random, but let's see if it works. So I will say, my question for you is, what's your usual boba order or similar drink? Some sort of boba or Taiwanese tea or whatever. For me, it's a jasmine tea with light honey and oat milk. So how about you in the chat? What's your, what do you like? Come on, I know you'll like boba. Let's see it. Something with milk and coffee. Yeah. Sometimes I'll go Thai iced tea or Vietnamese coffee. No milk teas. Yeah, you had lactose intolerant. See, mine, Marlene, I go oat milk. I go oat milk. Nicole too. So let's take Marlene out to the boba place and hook them up with the oat milk situation. Oh, there's one with real avocado. Oh no. Nice. Great. Iced coffee with a splash of oat milk, no boba. Great. All right, thank you. So I feel like there's people here. This is good. We're getting to know each other. I got another one. This one's going to be useful. We're going to bring it to the kind of meditation thing later. Um, Another question for y'all. What's a place in nature that you love or enjoy? Place in nature that you love or enjoy. It could even be a backyard or a park. For me, there's this like redwood grove with a grass meadow up in the hills where I live, that nobody really knows about. And so it's really sweet. I'm seeing in the chat ocean, the sea. Yeah, this National Arboretum. Cool. And sunsets. Yeah, sunsets. It's like that happens anywhere. I asked for a place, but that's a very valid place. Sunsets, no matter where you're at. Beautiful. The Gardens of Lake Merritt. That's Oakland, California. Okay, there's a Bay Area people here. Hot Springs and Bishop. I haven't been to that one yet, but thank you. Okay, great. How about actually one more final one? Um, who is someone you appreciate? Who is someone you appreciate? And that could be a human or a non-human. It could be a pet. It could be someone you know well, or someone that you just maybe you're inspired by even. But like, it'd be nice if it's someone you know, person or non-person. Somebody said you, all right, that counts. Use me. That's fine. My mom, great. And I want everyone to answer this at least in your own mind, but I'd love to see it in the chat too. Just think about it for a second. Who's someone that is kind of easy to appreciate? They just pop right to mind. Easy to feel grateful that they're alive or that they're in your life, or they were in your life. It's nice if they're still alive for this practice, but it's my grandma passed away, and I can sometimes work with my grandma really easily too. Um, that's her up on this candle. Um, Great, beautiful. So thank you. So whether you wrote it in there or not, we'll come back to this. So Cornell West has this little quote that I love. He just says, I am who I am because somebody loved me. I am who I am because somebody loved me. And it just helps kind of balance out this kind of hyper individualistic thing that I grew up with in this country. Um, Mainstream media, all that stuff. It's just like there's just kind of pull yourself up by your bootstraps, willpower yourself through, chart the course. And in some ways that gets, that's real in some ways. And it's totally missing something. We are deeply connected. We are deeply reliant on the whole web of life, whether it's the love that keeps us alive when we were infants, the love that keeps our hearts alive through our whole life, even the non-human beings, like I think from the humans, I get my like oxygen, my metaphoric oxygen, and from animals and stuff, but also literal oxygen, all the plants and life on this planet. I also get metaphorical oxygen from them. I get that kind of love, there's an opportunity to feel love for non-humans, non-mammals, even love for these redwood trees. I see y'all love for the sea. And I want you to play with not getting caught up in like, is a living being, is the sea a living being, is the tree a living being, is the sky? I'd say try not to worry about it too much and just see if you can just include that in your field of like connection, a web of connection that you know has impact on yourself. Um, and so that's what's been really helpful. Before we get into this guided meditation, I'll just say a couple of last things, which is that has been really helpful for me um, to remember all that, like that I'm deeply embedded in this web of life. There's this Lakota saying, and a lot of indigenous communities have words like to all my relations. And it just includes all of these things we're talking about. There's just this respect and connection and dignity of just all my relations. And so for this practice, yeah, we'll just kind of think and explore, not even think, but like explore and in your experience, what does it mean? Where do you feel connection? You know, connected internally, your own breath, your heart, your own tenderness, externally to the environment here. I've got the heater on. I feel warmth. I'm feeling held by this environment and this chair, to the trees outside, to my memories of the people who love me, all the stuff. Yeah, how is that? What does it feel like? How is connection? Um, so I think we might just jump into this practice then. So I will guide us in a little practice. And you can stay how your body is now, but if it would be simple to just like remember that your body might find a little bit more ease in a different posture. I'm kind of leading by example by slouching down because if I want to invite my body to just listen to itself, kind of listen internally and connect internally, my body knows what feels good. So let your body kind of know what feels good. If it wants to stretch or just to kind of find a sweet posture, laying down, sitting up, anything. And then let's come into presence. Presence is here, we can tap into presence through any of our senses. They're always online, seeing, hearing, sensing in the body, smelling, tasting. That's happening here and now. So I want to invite you to come into seeing. Just opening your eyes, letting them kind of look beyond just the screen. And let your eyes come into seeing. And you're kind of just bringing your awareness to the fact, okay, seeing is happening. It's not just something happening behind my consciousness that I'm not really aware of. Like I'm actually seeing and knowing that seeing is happening. And so this is present, seeing. And then one other level to this is just let the mind kind of incline towards, or let the eyes incline towards leading the way and like seeing what they want to look at. Like let the eyes find what they're drawn to. You don't need to decide or figure out in your head. Just let the eyes kind of savor what they want to savor. For me, the eyes are on this little shiny, shimmering sphere. And then they might move and wander and check something else out, even behind you. It might just be texture, or color, or a shape that the eyes are drawn to. Take your time. Maybe they want to close. Yeah, my eyes kind of want to close. But either way, just notice which one just feels better, You can enjoy through the eyes, take in the goodness through the eyes. And this way, we're connected to our environment through seeing. If the eyes are closed, we can visualize. So I'm going to ask you to visualize that place in nature that you named. Kind of call to mind. Maybe you start out, wherever you start out, maybe it's zoomed out or an aerial view or whatever. See if you can just kind of find yourself in the perspective of like actually being there. sitting or standing in that place in nature that you love, bringing your perspective to this in your mind's eye, just kind of feeling, imagining you're there. See the objects that are far away or close up. Breathing. Why don't we just take a breath here? Maybe another soothing breath, full and rich, and just imagining you're in that place, seeing those things you like to look at in this place. Perhaps you can even imagine the smell or the feel of the air, soundscape, birds. Relaxing the tension, relaxing the body, feeling what it feels like to feel connected to this place. And then bring in that person. You don't have to be in this same place if you don't want. You might go to where they hang out, see if you can bring in that person that you appreciate. If it was a person or an animal, see if you can see their face or their smile. If it's hard to visualize, you might just at least just say their name in your mind. I like to kind of imagine them doing what they love to do or laughing, just connecting in your own kind of mind's eye with this person you feel connected to that you appreciate. You can allow a smile, of course. There might be a smile that comes with seeing this being smiling. And then maybe in words might help. You might just say thank you or you're awesome. Way to go. Or I'm just glad you're doing your thing. I'm glad you've had the impact that you do. Glad you're who you are. Thank you. And then internally checking how this feels. What does it feel like? Is there a smile? Is there softness, opening, heaviness, warmth? How is it in the body? Staying with it, staying curious and kind. What is it like to feel, or at least attempt to feel connection? How's the breath? Is there a sweet, soothing breath that can join us here? And then let's just take a last moment just to thank you for coming here, to following your intuition, to showing up for yourself, taking a pause to do something like this with your evening. Thank you, past self, for deciding this and following through on it. So I thank all of you. This quirky, tender human being that made it here. Thank you. Thank you for taking this pause. And so you can stay here basking in either the place or the person or just being with your own heart. We'll just close with a little poem. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I'll tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, No matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. And so thank you. We can close with a soothing breath if you'd like, and then we'll come back together again, please, at your own pace. Invite you to come back to the chat. And yeah, how was that? That's my simple little go-to question to check in with you. How was that? How are you? Anything you noticed or surprised you? Any insights? Love to hear from everybody in the chat, even just a word or a phrase. Maybe some folks fell asleep. Time to wake up and come back. And how was that? Even if you fell asleep, that's great. I'd love to hear that. Sometimes this kind of practice helps with sleep. Great connection. And if anybody has any questions also, any questions, we have a moment for that. I'll give it a few breaths here and then I'm going to offer some kind of takeaway tips. I love that. Appreciate feeling grateful, says Marlene. Isn't that cool? Grateful for gratitude. Seriously. Thank you. Oh, by the way, that poem was Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. I don't know if I said that. Um, thank you. Appreciate it. So if there's no questions, I will kind of close out with some tips on this topic. Oh, good. Felt a genuine connection and belonging, Laura, and even a sense of community with everybody just through this little chat. That's sweet. Um, so a few tips and tricks. I got four of them. One is just notice how it feels in your day-to-day life. Like if you ever remember, like walking to class or walking to your car or whatever, um, notice how it feels to just say hello, or not even say hello, but just see the trees, see other beings, see another person, and just notice that connection and notice if there's any sweetness there. Um, and just tap in to all your relations. Um, Another suggestion, if there is some momentum of feeling connection and you've been wanting more of that, a couple things. One could be reconnect with someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Sometimes it's as simple as that, just a little reach out. Um, and the last thing I'll say is just keep showing up for yourself. Like the thing that you did to come here, keep following that. And a lot of settings will be more social than this, and you'll actually meet people. And yeah, you'll find your people, and community is so huge to just support you on what you're up to. So keep following your intuition. I think in a second, Jyoti's going to come on and talk about a climate resilience class you can sign up for. I was going to say just sign up for a class, and it's just on your calendar. You don't have to like figure it out by yourself. I got to go do this. I got to do meditate more. I wish I was better at this. Just sign up for the class, and it just happens, you know. And then another thing I'll offer before I hand it to Jyoti is I offer meditation in my little community of teachers online 7 days a week. We've done it for almost 5 years in a row now, 7 days a week without missing a day. And that's at 8:45 in the morning online. So if you like my little style here, I saw people like the vision part. We often do that in the mornings to start off. dharmahomies.com. Check that out. I put it in the chat. And let's see, before we go, if you want, before I pass it to Jyoti, you could take out your phone and and put your camera to this and check that QR code out. It works when it's small, and that'll take you to dharmahomies.com. So come check it out, 8:45 in the morning, even on weekends. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Jyoti, for hosting.
Thank you, T. That was such a wonderful session and definitely felt the energy of connecting with my loved ones, with my special nature place. And thank you for the ongoing resource. So amazing that you offer meditations daily in the morning. That's something I will definitely check out. And I hope some of our friends here, students here, will also check that out. And as T mentioned, we have the climate resilience course that we teach every spring on every one of the UC campuses. It has already started at Berkeley and Merced, and all the other campuses will be starting in April. And I hope you come to something like that or a gathering and feel the connection with the others. And I personally feel that when we're stressed and when I'm stressed, actually even just sitting with my friends and talking about what's stressing us out. And when we're all just in community talking about our troubles, it becomes lighter trouble always. Um, so thank you everyone for joining. And remember to complete your daily assessment that comes from climate resilience at ucsd.edu. And we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be here tomorrow. See y'all tomorrow.
Sounds great.